Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm great. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm doing well, and there's going to be a juggling aspect that we're going to bring up later today that I'll have to ask you about. Also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
I am doing well. I'm excited to talk about this film.
I bet you are, and today we do get to review and discuss the classic Bachelor Party film released on June 29th, 1984, my actual birthday. Not just the day, but the year as well, so I feel sort of kinship to this movie now. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, sir, I do.
20th Century Fox has brought you stories of love, war, adventure. Now, another classic tale. Rick Gasco is a man who lives to love.
Hi, sister. You look terrific today. What have you done with your hair?
Ready? Yo!
A man with talent. Good taste.
I hope you like potato salad. It's chunky style, my favorite.
Good friends.
This is the problem with American cars.
Good news.
I'm getting married.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's have a bachelor party with chicks and guns and fire trucks and hookers and...
His bride, Debbie,
It's you!
was raised in a different world.
Rick, we don't have a dog.
Oh, that's too bad. That's a waste of some good fat.
A man.
Bond. James Bond.
A woman.
Oh, come on, honey!
A bachelor party for him. A bridal shower for her. A night to encounter ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, ex-men, and excitement.
Is that your special?
20th Century Fox invites you to witness a tradition no one will discuss in public.
That would be out of sight, dude.
A motion picture event you can't afford to miss.
This is the best 3D I've ever seen.
I've seen better.
Bachelor Party, starring Tom Hanks, a man's tradition every woman should know about.
Hey, it's dark in here.
I miss this Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And that was the trailer for Bachelor Party, again released on June 29th, 1984, with a runtime of 105 minutes, rated R, starring Tom Hanks, Tawny Kitaen, Adrian Smed, George Grizzard, among a fabulous cast of others. All his friends are fantastic in this movie. Initial thoughts on that? I'm sorry. Also to finish up here, directed by Neil Israel, written but the story coming from Bob Israel, screenplay by Neil Israel and Pat Proft. Funny thing, Neil Israel, the Israels, so to speak, Bob and Neil worked on Police Academy, the original, created that. And then you also had Pat Proft worked on the Hot Shots movies as well. So there was a good mixture of minds coming together to get this going, starring Tom Hanks, as I mentioned. I already mentioned the starring cast. Initial thoughts on this. Todd had always alluded to this being reviewed and always had alluded to this being as one like, this might be one you hate, but actually, I could have swore this was one of the ones where you're like that you thought out, or
I know
the
this was
consensus
more
was that I was gonna hate.
This is more the one that was you couldn't do it anymore. It's kind of it kind of falls in the not politically correct anymore. I never really gave because I had honestly thought you'd seen this before.
No, I hadn't. No.
Okay, so see. First time watching it, I probably would have been like, yeah, I don't know where Ozzy's going to land, but.
All right, well, let's continue getting back into this. What are these initial thoughts? Like I said, I had never heard of this. I grew up with
even heard of it.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I never saw this.
Oh,
I always
okay.
saw this, like, the video cover when I'd go rent videos. But because I was always so used to seeing Tom Hanks and I first saw him with Joe versus the Volcano, then on and then more serious stuff after that. When I saw that, I didn't know what to think. I mean, I knew he'd done Bosom Buddies, right? So I knew he'd done comedy, and Everybody Loves Big, sure. But
I should have told you this was the prequel to Philadelphia.
but this was just one that when I saw the cover of, like as a kid, I was like, oh, I can't see that movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the cover is clearly, Todd, can we pull up I'll
Yeah.
continue talking about it. In the meantime, you could pull up the poster, but always seeing that cover, I always just thought to myself, yeah, I'll have to see that one day, like a long time. And it just never came around. Well,
That cover just screamed to me like, I need to see this now.
And we have the cover pulled up by Todd.
I don't think Ozzy didn't say, I need to see this now. It was, oh, I can't watch that.
It was, yeah, I can't see that. There's no way I'll get away with that.
Funny, the first time I saw it was the TV cut. So,
oh, that is funny.
so when I saw the VHS cut, I was all in.
So actually, why don't you just continue with your initial thoughts? You already got it started, so let's keep going.
Like I said, saw tape. My cousins were like, "Oh no, you got to see the good version." So watch the uncut one. Yeah, probably, as Ozzy likes to say, probably too young for it, but didn't matter. I loved it.
That was part of growing up in the 80s, is seeing things way too early than you should have.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was already a fan of Tom Hanks' Bosom Buddies. I did watch it at the time. Another show you couldn't do anymore. This has a little bit of that in here. Some of the jokes that won't be on favorite joke list, but yeah, it's just a fun and like growing up, this is what I expected bachelor parties to be. I mean, I only went to one that was similar. Ozzy, I think since this is like your birth right now, you need to reorganize your bachelor party to align up to make it a little closer to the movie. I mean, it's literally your birthday.
If there's no donkey.
Yeah,
okay, so complete full disclosure. So usually for bachelor parties, the bachelor is not privy to what's going to be going on entirely, right?
Yeah.
So just anybody unsure, I am getting married. I am engaged. We're recording this on June 22nd, and my bachelor party is happening this Saturday, June 28th. We're taking jet skis. That's as far as I know, to Catalina, and then dinner, and that's all I know. And if you're thinking, well, what are the chances a donkey's actually going to be at your bachelor party? I'm just letting you know, my best man and the person arranging everything is a dwarf. So, I mean, like,
magic happens.
If you're thinking, like, if you're telling a story, my buddy,
this is the beginnings.
I'm going to say I would not be surprised if I saw a donkey.
I mean, laying it out like that.
Not be surprised at all.
Laying it out like that. That is the beginning of a tremendous sex comedy. I'm just saying, taking jet skis to Catalina with your dwarf best friend. I mean, like that is like,
I actually would, if I could make it better, I would like to introduce some pirates and make it like could we do like a sex action comedy?
I think you just switch the pirates to ice now, and it's topical.
I do have brown skin, and I am going to be on water and on craft. I'm going to have to like tattoo my birth certificate on my arm. No one can rip this off.
Is this going to be the sequel to Twins? Is your guys's?
All right. So getting back to this movie now, the Tom Hanks cinematic version of Bachelor Party. Greg, initial thoughts on this? I don't think we got to you yet.
Yeah. I hadn't seen this. Similar to you, I remember seeing this box art, in a Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, whichever one we were at, and always curious because I grew up with Big, Turner and Hooch, all that fun stuff, and but was not age appropriate for when I was around there. So I was excited when we got to this, seeing him pop up and seeing, having the same feelings of that Tom Hanks. But this was a lot more well-rounded than I expected for an 80s flick, because you could have just been like, straight sex comedy, and you know, it could have just been all the depravity that you could go into it from that time. But I think that this movie ended up having a little bit more heart than you know one may expect. So it still had that Tom Hanks element that
He was still wholesome
Yeah.
in the debauchery. I think
Right,
that's
right.
what keeps
the
it
most
grounded.
wholesome movie where there's that much nudity in a donkey show.
Yeah, this is what I alluded to the director and writers when putting this together is they know how to get so it's not just like one-sided. They just, I mean, they'll always get you they'll always catch you by surprise. Rather like where you think it's going to be here, everyone like you can look at all these ones that we listed before, especially Police Academy and Hot Shots. You might have one level of what you think you're going to get, but it's always just a bar above, and you're like,
Right.
well, shoot, you guys are good. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
congratulations. And this was just one of those early on films here. What I really appreciated is that so in a lot of the sex comedies of the 80s especially is it's always, and we just recently or American Pie is either going to be coming up soon or recently released, but even with American Pie there's somewhat of a slant that it seems that only men can be attracted to the opposite sex and be sort of like sexually attracted to the opposite sex. You know what I mean? So having some scenes there of them going into the Chippendales and then the scene with the mom, like it just like it's like Greg, you said, more well-rounded. You're not just seeing one aspect, one side. Oh, it's only men that can be horny.
Right.
You know, you're seeing that too. So so everybody's able to laugh and everybody's able to enjoy it. So we are, instead of just doing favorite segments or favorite moments rather, or favorite lines, Greg had this idea that we're going to start doing with this particular episode. Might take a couple weeks to latch on to all the other ones, of course, but we also will have a least favorite or more critical line here or moment. So I would like to end off on a high note. So why don't we go into the most critical moments for you guys just to get that out of the way?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that because this one's one that's come up in real life and does personally irk me and has always disturbed me. The idea of group watching porn. I've never understood it. Like, that is the weirdest thing. And I don't care if it's a bachelor party, like just sure they didn't end up seeing what they wanted to see in the film, but it always disturbs me. I had a friend that Ozzy, and who would watch porn with friends when we come to hang out. And I the first time it happened, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, nobody's like, I want to hang out with my buddies and get a boner. Like, that's yeah. Anyway, that's my biggest.
As the oldest person on the panel, I'm just going to have to try to explain it the best I know how. This was just something that happened. Like, I don't know why, but I mean, because there was no other options than to see that genre. So
look, I understand there being a time where the movie theater was the only source to see it. I can understand that. But when it came to a point where you had these guys brought a projector, they were able to rent it somehow. So we're past that. We're past that.
This is true. I'm speaking in my case when we were still under the I don't know. When we were still under the age that we should have been able to get it. So at that point, we got to pop the tape in and check it out. But yeah, we were like, or though later we throw it on. Like sometimes it would get requested, we pop it on at parties, but we weren't watching it. It would just be on. I don't know. It was just
Ozzy's face is how I feel.
It's weird. Well, I agree with you. It's just something that happened.
I'm trying to imagine because okay, so Todd, Greg, like the three of us, the thing with pornography, right, is that we were like right at that cusp of the internet where it was just getting on there. So safeguards were still trying to be like, what's the best way? What's the best way? And now everything's locked. Like electronically, I mean, I'm sure there's apps or whatever site kids can figure out, but for the most part, if a kid's not really like gung ho trying to find it, they're not going to find it, right? And there was an explosion, for lack of a better term, I think, in the the 70s when it came to porno movies. Like you had more of them, you had an influx of them. So when you started to have them available at home, it was more of like an event, almost like I hate to compare the two, but if it was like a pay-per-view, you know what I mean?
No,
Like
you're right.
it was content that it was special content, and just because, well, rather because it was in the erotic slant, nobody, I mean, it to us seems weird, and to us because it was so readily available, like like I said, we were on that cusp of the internet, so we're so like, I guess I hate to say this because it sounds weird, but we became used to seeing it. So to see it with other people is kind of like, what are you doing? Because we got so used to seeing it by ourselves.
And
Other
I think
people got so used to seeing it with other people in the theaters, or like if a guy had a tape, let's go see this. I think that was just the culture at the time.
and I also think that's why younger generations are so weird about nudity in theaters. Like it's like, oh, this is a private thing, we shouldn't see this here. It's like a real it's the lack of nudity in film has a lot to do with that, in my opinion. But no, like you said, an event thing. I remember getting the John Wayne Bobbitt tape, uncut tape, and everyone having to come over to watch it.
And it sure was uncut.
Reattached, but whatever.
Okay.
And I remember getting Pam and Tommy and everyone wanted to come over and watch it. It was a thing. Like that was different though than just like, hey, we're gonna pop on this. But I mean, you had like the 70s you brought up with like the Debbie Does Dallas and the Deep, like those titles, like being behind the green door and people just flocking to see him. And when those hit tape, same thing. But I mean, that's different than just watching like a Gonzo 30 Dirty Debutantes 38. That's a weird watch party. Like I get, like, even now, like, you guys want to watch John Wayne, check this out, John Wayne Bobbitt, something weird. That's different though, I think.
Right.
And this concludes our conversation about 70s and 80s porn. Now back to the film review.
Well, this is what happens when you introduce a new segment.
And notice how we we delved into that topic when talking about our least favorite moment. We just started talking about porn. That's humorous.
Yeah, I didn't really have one for this, so go ahead.
It's tough. It's tough with this one. You kind of really gotta and you guys know me. I'm like one of the first people to be like, hey, wait a second, hold on. Yeah. But when you, like, if you do that, but you make me laugh, or you make the audience laugh right away, or it's for the purpose of something that's really funny, you're just with it, and you get such a level of empathy or even sympathy or empathy, whatever you're able to do, for Hanks's character based on the meeting with the parents, because the dad will hate him no matter what. Oh, yeah. And then you automatically just want to get on his side, right? So when you have something like that that's introduced early on, it's really hard to, and so for somebody like Tom Hanks, like an actor that you have that you've seen so many things, it's hard to find something at fault. But if I had to find one story-wise, it would just be that the antagonistic character, the Cole Whittier, the guy played by Robert Prescott, him,
the old boyfriend.
Yeah, him going up and be like, hey, we're actually going to do it at his house now, and here's a 50, and then just drive, and don't tell anybody. I don't know. That just to me seemed kind of like, I think the pimp would listen to the guy who gave him more money instead of just a 50.
Yeah.
That was the only thing but like, again, that was like really trying to, look for something specifically.
I'm surprised none of you took the thing about who turns down a Cuisinart.
That's good. Okay, so now that we got the critiques out of the way, let's get into the favorite moments. Greg, you kicked us off with the critique. Let's kick us off with the favorite.
There is a moment that I mean, maybe the timing's not best right now, but that's all right. I think every person in a long, like, serious relationship, whether you're married, about to get married, uh, knows this feeling. And sometimes I think the longer you're married, maybe you don't let this out. But there's a moment where his fiance is going over all of her worries about the wedding and all the different things. And Tom Hanks' response was, well, how about the Middle East? You all right with that? I lost it with that moment. That's definitely my favorite of the film.
Especially with the delivery of just excellent. Yeah. Todd?
No, I should go last because I've seen this the most, so I don't want to take anyone's.
I had two. One of them's a bit darker, and the other's like just flat out playing goofy.
Throw both out.
Okay. So the flat out playing goofy one is when, again, the Cole character is hanging outside the window in just a bed sheet, and the floor beneath them is like a husband, wife, whatever, opens the window and says, "There's a terrific moon tonight," and then just opens and there's the guy's like that was so like that's too funny.
That was my favorite moment as a kid, I'll tell you.
But I think maybe some people don't feel this word is appropriate for me to use, but I think it's somewhat magical when you could have a great moment in dark humor, and to see somebody trying to slit their wrists with an electric razor after building the character the way that they did. I mean, that's almost like that should be shown in like writing classes. Like just because you might think one thing is one way, here's a way it can be showed. Something like you have this guy who he keeps saying he wants to himself, but he's trying to do it with electric razor to his wrist. I mean, the visual of that alone was humorous and a little dark and twisted maybe, but I still couldn't help but love it. Todd?
You just made this a Patreon exclusive episode because half those are no words for YouTube. So there will be two versions of this now. I'll tell you later. Yeah, YouTube's weird. That's all right.
So am I going to be like...
You're going to be beep, beep, beep. But on Patreon, if you're watching it on Patreon, you're seeing this all uncut.
Okay. All right. Go Patreon, on, Todd.
YouTube's
much
weird.
Like you would be with an electric razor.
Yeah, exactly. All right. It's a bit of a spoiler, but I think 41 years. The dead donkey is hysterical. I got to say that. Yes. But the part that made me laugh the most this time was when it's in the elevator, and this is the first time I ever noticed. There's a towel, and they made sure they cover the donkey dome. Like, we don't want to offend anyone. The dead donkey. That's the limit. That's the limit. But I got to throw this one out, though, as a 3D mark. The 3D gag with this is the best 3D. And then the girl, it was in the trailer. We just saw, I've seen better than she gets punched in the face. Yeah, that always made me laugh, too. But that's my 3D fan. Like, the whole theater part, like, it's like really before the megaplexes were that big, but they're parroting how big they're getting.
Yeah.
And now, like, you wouldn't be surprised to see a 38 screen. What is the block of orange got?
30. 30. Yeah. That's where you find the movies in Punjab.
Yeah.
Or Punjabi. Actually, the first thing I thought of, though, is because for me as a kid, if anybody grew up in Orange County in Orange, California, there was a theater called the Cinedome.
Yep.
And going to that theater the first time felt exactly like when they went like, oh, which screen is it? Because I remember going to that movie theater to me like, oh my God, this place is huge. Right. So that was a fun callback, but
I saw Return of the Jedi and Terminator 2. They're both in 70 millimeter. So
nice.
I was even a nerd about the film presentations then.
Well, I'd like to continue the pissing contest by saying I saw Jurassic Park and Independence Day there. And that was fun because, when people cheer during Independence Day, it made things a little
bit better. Not T2 or Return of the Jedi. I'm just saying. I also saw Gremlins and Ghostbusters there if we want to keep going.
All right, we're done. Like, God wins. So we've been through our favorite moments, so now going into the ratings, Greg, kick us off, would you?
I mean, it's a fun story, made me laugh, well-rounded. I don't know how you don't give it a 5. This is a fantastic film. I recommend it to anybody.
Todd, do you want to go last or you want me to go next?
You can go for it. I'll go last.
Okay. So I actually saw this sitting right next to my fiance. And there was a moment when she says, "Is Brad getting a stripper?" And I'm like, I don't know. All I know is we're taking jet skis, Catalina, and we're having dinner. But I don't know. And she's like, okay. And like, the conversation delved a little bit deeper that I can't get into right now, but everything's okay. No, in all seriousness, that was a bit of a joke.
Blink
But no,
twice if it really is.
in all seriousness, even she enjoyed the movie thoroughly, but I think it was because there was moments that she was able to relate to as well. Like there was one of these when they're at the Chippendales and they're doing one of the things. She says, "I went to one of these things in Vegas," and it's pretty accurate, So it's something that actually interested her in following along, and she was already a fan of Tom Hanks to begin with.
Mhm.
But usually when I watch a lot of these movies, there's a lot of times where she's like, "This is stupid. I'm going to do something else," or I'm going to whatever. This was not one of those movies. From start to finish, I enjoyed it. I was on board the entire time from the very beginning that you meet Rick Gasco, Tom Hanks's character. You're automatically just behind him no matter what. I mean, the first thing you see him, he's being flirtatious with a nun, which right off the bat is hilarious. So you get behind him and it never stops from there. Even at 105-minute runtime, it doesn't feel as such. So it's absolutely a 5 for me all the way. Todd?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to be the only 5 here for nostalgia reasons, but I watched this still. Like, I probably watched this within the last year, like because I know I've brought this up a few times, and so yeah, it's never like I had my friend who was out of town, so I knew this was one he'd enjoy too. Like, so he got to watch this and Zapped with me. So we really we went with the old school one. So it was a good time. It always is. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get now.
Yes, this is not available to stream anywhere at this time.
And not only that, if you want to pick up the Blu-ray secondhand market, you're looking at about $90.
Holy Toledo!
I didn't check the DVD, but I'm sure you can probably score that one for relatively cheap on eBay.
I'm guessing you have the Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, of course.
Any special features on that?
I don't have it right here, but I do have it.
Do you remember if there's a commentary?
I'm looking at the back of it right now. It has Behind the Scenes, An American Tradition, which is a featurette, While the Men Play, a Tom Hanks interview, which is vintage, in the trailer, but no comedy. But it does have some making of stuff.
Okay.
So, I'm just looking how long. Yeah, the Behind the Scenes is only 3 minutes. American Tradition's about 3. So there's like probably about six minutes worth of bonus content. And the interviews are like 3 minutes. So it's all retro stuff with just little promotional stuff. But yeah. I don't know if there's a particular reason this one's being buried or it's just not been put back in print now, because a lot of the Fox stuff went out of print when Disney got it. Not everything went back in print. So secondhand market shoots up. So until Disney decides to put it back out. But like, yeah, this one's not even available on digital. Either is Revenge of the Nerds 1.
Interesting. Well, I would think with this one, with 20th Century Fox owned by Disney, they don't want the voice of Woody being released in a film called Bachelor Party. I think that would lead to too many.
In more ways than one.
It does.
But Philadelphia's okay.
It was a drama. If Bachelor Party was drama, it'd be a different
There's only
story.
one thing that's questionable now, for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think that's enough to hold it back.
I think that had that scene not played out with the shower afterwards, I think it would have been okay. If he'd just been like, all right,
Yeah, so, if the reaction was nonchalant and just like,
but I mean, it was an 80s appropriate reaction. I mean, that's
of course, yes.
I get it. So.
That absolutely.
Times change.
Yeah.
It was a different time. So that does conclude our review of Bachelor Party. Again, not available to stream anywhere. If you find a copy of it anywhere at a reasonable price, go ahead, snag it up. because as you heard from Todd, no longer available in print.
Oh, you can get it for like $10 on DVD on Amazon or on
if you're
on
fine with the
eBay.
DVD. If you're fine with the DVD, good. Blu-ray is going to cost you a little bit more.
Hey, Ozzy, I don't know if you're aware about this, but so you got this to look for in your future. Did you know there's a bachelor party too?
Okay, well, you know what? Let's not get carried away.
And I think that'll get the reaction you expected me to get you the reaction.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But as of right now, this does conclude our review of Bachelor Party. Feel free to check it out if you do have a chance to check it out. Greg and Todd, do you have anything else before you head out for this week?
No. Well, actually, I do. Do you think that in Clerks 2, the donkey scene for the bachelor party got its inspiration from this movie? Has Kevin Smith said anything?
They literally say.
Oh, did you say that? Okay.
I'm going to
All
do
right.
something that we've talked about ever since we watched Bachelor Party on your old man's
At
VHS.
9 years old.
Brilliant.
At 9, yeah. So he specifically mentioned it. Because when I
Brilliant.
first saw that was the first thing I thought of, like, was Clerks 2. But then I remembered the line that Randall had, where ever since we saw Bachelor Party for the first time.
So, and that should have
there you go.
immediately made you both watch Bachelor Party. You guys kind of failed on that.
That's
front.
a fair
Just
We
saying.
did. We did.
That's a fair point. All right. So that does conclude our review. If you are in the Orange County area this week, I'll be hosting trivia this Tuesday at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest beginning at 7:00, and this Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia beginning at 7. Always free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. Although I will say, if you are heading to the Placentia location, I would recommend to get there early. The past couple times, it's been standing room only. So it's been pretty cool. A lot of fun. Feel free to check it out. Otherwise, if you guys don't have anything else, then for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.